Everyone wants to know where Australian house prices are headed to next. Now for me, of course, it's an educated guess. I'm just some guy on YouTube. But I can join the dots and I want to explore some of the stuff that's being said in the mainstream media about what could potentially happen in 2022, what some Australian banks are also suggesting, and I'll share with you exactly what my thoughts look like when it comes to prices. Now, if you're interested, definitely keep watching. Hey guys, my name's Ravi and welcome back to Personal Finance with Ravi Sharma. If you're new here, definitely smash the subscribe button if you're interested in content like real estate, cryptocurrency, and financial freedom. It would go a long way into supporting the video and the channel if you can smash that like button as well, and drop me a comment if you are interested in having a conversation. So in this video, I really want to discuss what's actually happening, especially with these lockdowns and how that could affect Australian real estate prices, but not just for the rest of the year. You know, we're about 4 months away from the end of the year. I want to focus on what happens next year in 2022. Because if you're someone that's preparing to enter the real estate market, you might be thinking, is it a good time to invest now? Should I wait? Is there a crash coming? So let's just answer all those questions in this video. Lockdowns, incentives, where the property market is headed in 2022. Property prices keep going up and up, so much so that Aussies are pricing themselves out of the market. But surely it can't go on like this forever.
Surely not.
How high the market will go by the end of the year is up for debate. Fitch Global predicts it will rise 16%, and recent CommBank analysts predict 20%. But with the rapid spread of COVID-19 Delta variant, things may change. Here is a look at what property market is currently and where it could go heading into 2022. Lockdowns have little impact. Lockdowns preventing Aussies from leaving their home has done little to subdue the market. In fact, even with some of the harshest restrictions the country has seen, listings have only dropped slightly while clearance rates are through the roof. Sales continue to surge across Australia with around 171,000 sales in the 3 months to July, according to CoreLogic. That is 53% higher than it has been in the last 5 years. Like, those numbers are staggering. And this is what I say is, this is not normal, okay? Going through and having a conversation around
16%. No, it's not 16%. It's gonna be 20%.
Like, we were having conversations, and I know this for a fact that I've been investing for 7 years, right? So even before that, I'm looking at what's the average growth? What am I looking at conservatively so I can forecast what my portfolio will look like? I can tell you, the portfolio is moving a lot quicker. And for a lot of people, they're buying property for the first time. They think this growth is normal. It definitely is not. I used to use a conservative number of about 4 to 5% of capital growth. If you go back to my earlier videos when I was making them in like Feb of March of last year, 2020, you would see that I'm using like 4 or 5%. Now we're going, well, if you're, growing at less than 16%, like, are you even keeping up with the market? Obviously, these are just averages. So we need to look at property specific and we need to look at where are they placed in the property cycle. You don't want to just be buying at the top and go, well, let's just hope for the best because property prices continue going up. Well, there are some places that are actually declining in value, but then there's other places that are absolutely killing it with like 20 or 30% growth in the last 12 months. Despite a ban on on-site auctions, July saw a strong auction clearance rates in all capital cities according to Domain Auction Report for July. Melbourne had almost 5,000 scheduled with 69.3% clearance rate. This is the highest result of a month of July since 2017. Sydney followed suit with 3,472 scheduled auctions, the strongest July performance since 2016. They're referring back to dates like 2016, 2017, which is around the time that these markets got overheated. And then APRA had to step in, and that's when we had that cool down, the mid-cycle slowdown. And this is why I think it's very interesting to see what happens next. I think we're in like one of the biggest booms, if not the biggest boom in Australian real estate prices. What happens after that? Well, time will tell, and we need to just keep adapting our plans and our strategies along the way, but I don't think this is the end. Prices keep rising, but why? Why, Ravi? Why do they keep rising? So despite thoughts the market would see a drop-off in a nation closed down, it seems the market resilience is strong. CoreLogic said there are 3 main reasons. 1, low mortgage rates. Increased buyer demand has stemmed from continuously falling mortgage rates. Despite earlier concerns that mortgage rates might be listing sooner than expected, I think that's meant to say rising sooner than expected, RBA data found average home loans rates actually fell by 0.12% in the first half of this year, a savings windfall. Aussies are spending less money because they're stuck inside, and coupled with an increase in government support initiatives, some found themselves with more savings in the bank. Household savings peaked at 22% of the household income in July quarter of 2020, which was above the then decade average of 7%. These are not numbers, again, we're viewing this going,
Oh, this is normal because we've been talking about it for 18 months.
these are not normal numbers. If the average is 7% as to how much we save, now in a year we've actually saved 22%, what do you think is going to happen? Some people are now moving their money and they're realizing, maybe by watching some of these videos, they're realizing the money I have in the bank earns me no money. But not only am I not earning money, I'm losing the value of that currency because the government goes out there, just keeps printing more money, buying up and, quantitative easing. And so the real value of our currency is dropping. But hey, wait, what actually went up? Well, hard assets did, right? You had something like Bitcoin go up in value, you had something like real estate go up in value, and these are growing at exponential rates. So there's people that are moving their money in truckloads across into real estate. And again, I go back to the point, why would that change? 3, incentives for home buyers. 2020 saw the introduction of multiple first home buyer incentives from the first home loan deposit scheme before the pandemic to various state-based grants and concessions, along with incentives for the purchase and or construction of a new off-the-plan property. Will prices drop? This is the big question everyone's come here for. Are prices going to drop in 2022? Well, let's find out what they say, and then let's find out what my opinion is. Will prices drop? Yes and no. What the hell? We've read all this way through, and then you're going to give me an answer like yes or no? Please. Most experts predict an easing of growth rather than a backflip. CBA head of Australian economics Gareth Aird said he expects Aussie prices to rise by 20% by the end of this year, but only 7% next year. While prices will still be rising, it will be at a much more reasonable rate than we'll have experienced so far. Price growth is expected to be moderate in 2022 on affordability constraints, but very low mortgage rates will continue to be a tailwind on the property market, he said. Okay, so it seems like the general consensus is that we've had crazy amounts of growth in 2020, we've had crazy amounts of growth in 2021, but in 2022, it's gonna ease up. Well, you know what? Let's just take into consideration what these economists, everyone out here, were saying. In maybe the first quarter, second quarter of 2020, they came out and they said, look, property prices could fall by 30% because of X, Y, and Z reason. Then they sort of fell back and said, oh no, that might not happen. We might actually increase. Well, then we ended up seeing in the last part of 2020, like growth of 10% plus. Now in 2021, they were saying, well, no, it's not going to be as crazy because we're going to have interest rates possibly go back up. We won't have as much incentives. And you know what? We may have a collapse in the property market when JobKeeper ends in March of 2021. Yeah, that didn't happen either. So then they said, well, we might see like maybe 10% again or 10 to 15, but it's going to slow down. It's not sustainable. Affordability is crap. The economy is going to recover. And then we should see interest rates increase by 2022. Okay, granted, we didn't see the Delta variant come through and, cause lockdowns again. But now they're saying again that we might slow down next year. And I don't really agree. I think we are at the birth of what is happening. I think we might be in just year 1 of a 3-year accelerated growth process or cycle. And it just doesn't feel right to see all the writings on the wall, all the dots are there to join for us. And I leave it up to you. At the end of the day, I just make these videos for fun. Obviously, I'm just some guy on YouTube who doesn't really know anything. But at the end of the day, you've got to make that decision and see what's right for your strategy. For me personally, I'm buying real estate. That's why I talk to my clients as well. This is a great time to buy. I think any time in the last 50, 60 years, if you were able to get into the market with a good strategy and you had some certainty around your income, had multiple streams of income, was even better. But if you were positioned to actually go get a mortgage, it was generally a good time to. If you did see some sort of corrections, and let's say you bought at the top of the market in say 2016, 2017, you did see a slowdown for the next couple of years, but you're now well ahead of where you were. And real estate being a really long game, if you're in there and you're wanting to just be around for 12 months, well, that's probably not the right thing or the right place to be. But if you're in this for like the next 15 to 20 years, well, instead of thinking about, oh, well, I've got to time the market, you've got to also time the market with enough supply and good quality properties out there. Do you think all of a sudden everyone's just going to start selling at like 20 or 30% discounts? I don't think so. So you've got to really understand what your strategy is. If you want to have more discussions around topics like this, I talk about this stuff daily and all about the research that goes behind these videos in my Patreon community. So definitely go join that. There's a link in the description below. And that's it from myself. I'll catch you guys on the next video. Thanks, guys.